disasters that now know territory and borders, that is, drug and human trafficking and smuggling of migrants, pose a serious threat to the development of society and the state, especially as severe crime like human trafficking violates a person's life, freedom, and fights, trampling on his fate and future. We decided to address the same topic in our report today. Dear observers of Uzbekistan National News Agency, you are welcome, Ms. Reda. Today, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime devotes a lot of effort and attention to eliminating human trafficking in Uzbekistan and the Central Asian region. The organization is developing a plan of measures in this regard and is giving important advice to residents. We considered it necessary to talk with Reda Sigrediene, the regional advisor on countering trafficking in persons and migrant smuggling in Central Asia, to prepare an article about the work on prevention of human trafficking and drug trafficking and plans. First of all, let me begin with the introduction body. Could you briefly explain the role of United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime in combating trafficking in persons? Are the significance of your positions as a regional advisor?
I always love this question. So United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime is the guardian of the United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime and its supplementary protocols on combating trafficking in persons, combating smuggling of migrants, and combating trafficking in firearms. We assist our state parties of the convention and the protocols in implementation of the main international standards in their national policies, and render technical assistance through various activities to achieve the best possible result while doing it. Through our technical assistance, we help member states to elaborate national strategies, action plans, other legal acts, develop educational materials, training programs. We render training for practitioners which are directly involved in this. In addition, we develop international cooperation, support member states in mutual legal assistance, evidence collection. We maintain investigations. We support in rendering awareness raising campaigns, etc., many activities. And I'm, as regional advisor for Central Asia, I'm responsible to coordinate all our efforts in cooperation with national authorities in every of the country to achieve the best result being here in the region.
Okay, understandable, thank you. Moving on the main questions, what are the primary drivers and root causes of trafficking in persons in Uzbekistan, in our country? Could you speak about?
Actually, Uzbekistan is not exceptional as all countries in the world. You know, every country is more or less touched by trafficking persons. The Central Asia region, including Uzbekistan, maybe differs in sense that still this region is more a country of origin, especially Uzbekistan. The country of origin, it means more people are trafficked outside the country to be exploited in other countries than they are coming to the country. Another difference might be that still in Uzbekistan, the majority of victims of trafficking and the majority of traffickers which are convicted for trafficking persons crimes are females. In other countries, mostly traffickers are men, so it's like the main difference. What else? In Central Asia and Uzbekistan, mostly trafficking persons for sexual exploitation and labor exploitation is investigated. In the world, we see that many other forms are investigated. For example, trafficking persons for forced criminal activity, for forced begging, forced marriage, forced military service, forced involvement in terroristic and armed groups, etc., etc.
Okay, the current situation, how would you describe the current state of human trafficking in Uzbekistan compared to the Central Asia region, maybe?
Actually, in the regional countries are similar, excluding Kazakhstan, which is also more a target country and a transit country for the region. In general, actually, the trends are similar. Maybe exceptionally Kazakhstan, because it is also a target country. As regards vulnerabilities in the region, they are the same. Cultural background is similar. Actually, there is nothing so distinguishing for Uzbekistan. Just all the trends are similar to other countries of the region.
Ms. Rida, what do you think the specific demographics or communities are particularly vulnerable on trafficking in Uzbekistan? Could you speak about it?
Yes, there are some peculiarities, but also they are quite common. I cannot say that it's particularly only Uzbekistan, but yes, they are also applicable to Uzbekistan. Like there are people which lose jobs and they have low education, or they don't have any education and they are seeking jobs. So any attractive proposal by someone, even a stranger, is attractive. It's everywhere in the world, but the same in this region. Also the communities which have many dependent people, like they have low salaries and they have dependent children, maybe dependent spouse, or maybe dependent relatives, parents. They need to take care of them, so they need more money. They're desperately looking for some other job or another income source. Also, students right after studies are seeking jobs, or they're traveling for abroad, looking for possibility to study abroad. They also might be approached by traffickers, because they are very good psychologists. They might offer something, what might be attractive, even for educated people. I want to attract attention that not only people which have low education or don't have education can be trapped into trafficking, but also educated people, the ones who are seeking some better education, better jobs abroad, might be trapped by traffickers as well with some attractive proposals.
Okay, next question will be about the prevention efforts. What preventive measures have been most effective in Uzbekistan in recent years, maybe in the recent decade as well?
In my experience as a practitioner since many years, I would say that there are three most efficient measures. First, raising awareness among the public and practitioners. If the person knows about it, knows about threats, and knows how to prevent this or protect himself, herself, it's already a big advantage. That's why we're trying to speak about this problem to everyone, and trying to raise awareness during our campaigns. The same national institutions are doing, that people know about this problem, know where to apply if they experience some problems, or if they become victims of trafficking, that they know what can be rendered for such people. It's first. The second very important aspect, proactive action by everyone. Proactive action in sense prevention to foresee possible trafficking cases and stop traffickers or victims being trapped in it. And especially it's important when law enforcement conduct proactive investigations. They are not waiting until victims themselves come or their relatives come to inform about the crime committed some time ago, but they start collecting information, analyzing, and revealing potential such cases, or revealing already happening cases, happening crimes themselves, and start investigations. And the third very important aspect, based on my practice, high penalties for convicted traffickers. If the traffickers get imprisonment for maximum what is foreseen in the criminal code of the country, or nearly maximum penalty, believe me, they will think twice before committing this crime. They will move committing other crimes.
Okay, we mentioned it just now, drug and human trafficking, the smuggling of migrants maybe pose a serious threat to the development of society and the state. What people receiving job offers should take into account? Could you give some advice and suggestions as a regional advisor?
I also love this question, and it's very important, it's crucial. First of all, people should understand if some strange person or even some relative whom you haven't seen for a while approaches you and offers something very attractive abroad, with attractive salary and some job which you can do. First, you need to ask yourself, why this person is so good to me, offering such a good opportunity, and this person does not take this opportunity for himself or herself, or does not give this opportunity to his family members. Why to me? It's first. If you have the answer to this question, then you should consider, do I have relevant education? Do I have relevant experience? Can I trust this person? Then you need to check information in internet, ask friends, ask some other governmental agencies which are involved in this, like External Migration Service, for example, or embassy in that country, check in internet information about this company, clarify if really such a job is available in some concrete company, if the company is existing, if this company is really involved in what is described to me. If anyway I decide to travel abroad, I should try to get personal information of the person who offered me the job, and maybe taking a picture and leaving for my family. In case something happens to me, that my family applies to the police and can give information of the person who recruited me for the job. It might be very important information for further investigation. In addition, it would be good to leave for your family, relatives, or friends some sign agreed in advance what you will do, what word you will use, how you will call in case you are in danger. For example, if you call your relatives, usually traffickers are nearby, you should mention some word. You know, whatever word you decide, summer, winter, whatever, that family understands you are in danger and they apply to the police, trying to organize your rescue. What also is important, and it's warning, you need to clarify the contract conditions and try to sign the contract before leaving. If people are suggesting to sign a contract upon arrival, try to read it before leaving, try to get a copy of it anyway. And be cautious in case you are offered accommodation, meals, transportation by the person who is offering the job. In addition, your living location will be the same or nearby the exploitation or the work location. It's very likely it's your exploitation place, exploitation site. And also what's very important, if you arrive and you really see that you were trapped into exploitation, just run away using the first opportunity. I understand many people do not speak foreign language, you do not know where to run, but before leaving, take contacts of your embassy, take contacts of local police of that city where you are going to travel, take contacts of specialized NGO, non-governmental organizations might help you, and try to liaise with them. But if it is very urgent and you just escaped from the site of exploitation, approach anyone on the streets, say help. Help, you know, everywhere will be understood. Even in Uzbekistan, if someone runs to you and says help, you will understand that the person needs help. So just don't wait thinking that something will be changed, you know, you will get your salary. No, you will not get your salary. Just try to escape and seek help.
Yes, of course, you are right, because today the people want living abroad, maybe working or the studying. Of course, to clarify some interesting things as well as the accommodation. Yes, of course, understandable. Okay, we know as well as about awareness and training. What initiatives has United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime taken to raise awareness about trafficking in persons in Uzbekistan and train local agencies to tackle this issue?
Yes, as I have told, one of the most important aspects is awareness and knowledge about trafficking. That's why our activities and all this awareness raising campaign and this our interview, everything is related to raise the awareness of the public first, that people know about the crime, know about the indicators, can recognize that they might be trapped and prevent from being trapped and protect themselves, maybe also tell about this problem to their family members, tell at schools, tell to relatives. You know, more people know about the problem, more likely they can protect themselves. On the other hand, as I have mentioned also, it's very important that practitioners, law enforcement, judiciary, social workers, teachers, municipality specialists, civil society, even private business know about this problem as well. It's very related. So our second or the other purpose is also to raise awareness among everyone who might have their first intake with a potential victim of trafficking. Can recognize that it might be a victim of trafficking, can refer for assistance. So it can be any specialist. Based on that, we are organizing training sessions. Our main focus group is law enforcement, also judiciary. We have done training in all countries around the regions. We have conducted 14 regional seminars covering the whole country on identification and referral of victims of trafficking, on detection trafficking crime, on investigation of this crime, on networking in every region by local specialists to exchange information and to support each other in combating trafficking persons, because information is very important to prevent the crime, to disclose it and to investigate.
And now we want the support system. How are victims of human trafficking being supported in Uzbekistan? Are these sufficient rehabilitation as well as the reintegration programs maybe?
Uzbekistan is applying two-step assistance mechanism. First is governmental assistance. There is a governmental rehabilitation center for victims of trafficking with all specialists. On one hand, state is taking care of the victims, all support is rendered here. On the other hand, there is civil society sector, and there are non-governmental organizations which also support victims. And one of the most known probably, which is working in the majority of regions of the country, is Istiqbal. And they have a free tool where you can call and ask for advice or inform about the crime or ask for assistance. So in Uzbekistan, there are like two possibilities, but every assistance is decided on identification. There are two stages of identification, preliminary and final. If it is preliminary identification, of course, civil society will help first. After the final identification, probably the victim will be placed into the governmental rehabilitation center, but also non-governmental organizations can be involved in assistance rendering. Actually, there are two opportunities, and it depends where you are referred by a specialist.
Okay, understandable. Future projections, given the current trajectory, how do you foresee the future of trafficking in persons in Uzbekistan in the next decade?
First of all, probably how to tell that trafficking persons will be. This crime is generating huge money. It's the second crime after drugs, nearby firearms, so maybe we can say like drugs, firearms and trafficking are the most beneficial crimes to generate huge money. It means people will be involved in committing this crime anyway. This crime is under evolution constantly based on technologies especially. For example, the crime itself has been moved to commit the crime has been moved to technologies, to internet, social networks. Victims are recruited using phishing, hunting methods and internet, like phishing, leaving an advertisement, waiting until victim calls herself or himself, or hunting, sending messages via telegram. Actually, people have to be cautious when they get messages with attractive proposals via telegram. Never reply to those messages because it might be invitation to trafficking, like be cautious. So this crime is under evolution because technologies are developing, traffickers are also developing, law enforcement is developing to protect, prevent the crime. So it will be under evolution, and I think that in the nearest future, also Uzbekistan will be investigating trafficking persons not only for sexual exploitation and labor exploitation, but also for forced criminal activity. For forced begging as well, what I see by trends. As regards trafficking persons for forced criminal activity, probably it might be drug trafficking related, because young people are trapped into drug trafficking. They are like forced by various means by traffickers to sell drugs on the streets, at schools, etc., that traffickers themselves are not visible. So I think that law enforcement start analyzing information and reveal such cases, because they are everywhere. Drugs are everywhere as well, very related crime. Also, I see that Uzbekistan will have more international trafficking persons cases, because people are migrating. People are looking for good opportunities. Uzbeks will be traveling abroad. Some other nationalities will be coming to Uzbekistan. Actually, yeah, probably those are the main trends. So it's a huge work, and it's very expensive for the state, because it's very difficult to investigate this crime. It's very difficult to detect this crime. It is a hidden crime. So until law enforcement themselves do not detect the crime using special techniques, or until someone doesn't report about the crime, it's somewhere around us. Maybe even around this building, going somewhere. Until we do not reveal this crime, we don't know exactly. So it's quite expensive, to invest into analysis, into techniques, into various tools to purchase and use and train practitioners to reveal and investigate the crime. So I think that this area of work will still be a priority. Still much to be done, and still we need to speak about it, and actually it's a good opportunity, and we appreciate that mass media is also involved, because mass media is very important to spread the message, to reach everyone who needs to know this information, who needs to learn to be able to protect themselves. Actually, thank you so much being involved in this as well.
Always the mass media and the national news agency and another governmental sites wants to report some news as well as reports like the crimes, and as well as this crime type. Okay, Ms. Reda, the last question, the recommendations. What steps would you recommend for both national and regional stakeholders to further social trafficking in persons?
From my practice, again, I will say that the most important is to cooperate. To cooperate in sense to exchange data, exchange information, to discuss joint action, and to implement coordinating joint action is very important, because if we, let's say, if we succeed to decrease the trafficking persons crime rate in Uzbekistan, the traffickers will move to Kyrgyzstan, the traffickers will move to Tajikistan. It means all countries have to cooperate to achieve the best result, because if the hostile situation is here, they will move to somewhere nearby. So we will not stop the crime like this. We need to cooperate and try to combat together, to reveal the cases, investigate, and just imprison the traffickers and send victims for assistance and rehabilitation, that they are not victimized again.
The conclusion is that those who enter the world of crime have a negative impact not only on their destiny, but also on the development of the entire country and society. Therefore, when the world's people face environmental dangers, economic losses, and other natural disasters, preventing of crimes such as drug and human trafficking should become a human duty of each of us. We want to thank Ms. Reda for her opinion on today's pressing issue and for providing the necessary information as a regional advisor. Thank you very much.